How do we stay stable when everything around us seems to be falling apart? I mean, let's be honest, right? We live in a time of chaos, of unprecedented change and pressure and stress. No wonder that for many of us, life seems to be a bit of an emotional roller coaster. I mean, whether it's a societal level, in the last few years alone, look what we've been through. We've been through a pandemic that's brought tremendous stress to almost everybody. Then we've had a massive financial crisis. We're still living through that. We're in times of great political turmoil. And then, with the war in Ukraine, the prospect of really bad stuff happening is in the newspapers every day. Everything seems an upheaval, and that's at a big level. Then we come down to the personal level. One of the most famous atheists and secular thinkers of all time is a gentleman called Fredrick Nietzsche. He was a 19th century atheist philosopher, hugely influential. And he once said something very interesting on this very issue. He said the man who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. And he was obviously writing in times where he wasn't gender inclusive, but we might paraphrase it today to say that the person who has figured out the meaning to life, what life is all about, the purpose of life, is going to find it a little bit easier when tough times come, because you're standing on something secure. There's a rock you can stand on even while you're battered by the storms of life. And so we need to really answer that why question. So how do we do it? Well, we live in an age that's really tried to answer Nietzsche's need for a why purely in secular terms. We live in an age that encourages us to take something in our lives and really make it central and build our lives upon it. Now, for many of us, that's our career. It'd be very tempting if you work in a job that no matter how stressed it is, you do really quite enjoy. The temptation can be to make that job everything. It becomes the whole center of your existence. And the problem with that, of course, it can badly affect those around you. If you can't switch off when you go home and your job comes home with you, your family really aren't going to appreciate that. And what about the pressure that brings, the worry that what if I lose my job? What if something happens? That can be bring terrific stress as well. We can do it with our standard of living. We become almost addicted to our income level, to our house, to our car, to our holidays. We need our life to remain at that level financially, and if anything happens, everything goes wrong. Or the fear of losing our standard of living. That's why the financial crisis has proved so tough to many. And the other place we can look for meaning is family, of course, and relationships. We can take our family relationships, we can make them absolutely central. They become everything to us. But again, there's grave uncertainties there, because families can be difficult places, right? Sometimes tragically, family breakup happens. Sometimes death and bereavement happens. And whether it's job or money or family, if you try and make that everything to you, then actually that is ultimately not going to give you the security that you need for the trauma of life. So how do we answer Nietzsche's why question? Well, traditionally, the way that would have been done, of course, is through spirituality. In fact, for most humans, through most of human history, and in most cultures today, actually, the well-being question is deeply connected with the spirituality question. You see, if we are nothing more than atoms and molecules, then the best, I suppose, we can do is try and take career or money or family and somehow make that the center of everything and just deal with the consequences. But what if we are not just atoms and particles? What if there is a God of some kind behind this universe? As a Christian, I believe that there is. And as someone who really struggled personally with that well-being question when I went through mental health and depression issues in my 20s, it was really when I discovered what God had done for me in Jesus Christ, and discovered that there is a God behind the universe who loves me tremendously, who's demonstrated my value by sending Jesus to give his very life for me, that I suddenly discovered a meaning to life, an answer to that why question that was wide enough and deep enough and strong enough to support no matter what life throws at me. And so today, 30 years on from making that decision to become a Christian, I would say, yeah, life can still be very, very tough, but I have the confidence of knowing that no matter what life throws at me, there is something strong enough underneath me to support me through it.